All right, so in this activity, we're getting the kids to work with force and motion. We're trying to get them to analyze the materials we have in front of them, to be able to make some good predictions, and then do some experimental processes, make observations essentially, and see if those predictions are correct. And if not, think about why they're not. It's a simple game. We use a hula hoop to contain everything. This is typically on the floor. You can see that our table here has quite a bit of slant to it. All of our marbles and stuff are kind of moving towards that direction. This happens a lot. Your floor is not as level as you think it is. So make sure that you kind of scope some of these things out. Make sure, give the kids some flexibility to where they put their hula hoop on the floor so that they can avoid some of those discrepancies in terms of how level the floor happens to be. The way this works is that the kids are taking turns. They're using a large shooter marble. And what they were trying to do is get any of these balls. And I'm using a variety of balls. So I have a racquetball, a tennis ball, a ping pong ball, a golf ball, and then I've got 3 metal balls, which you'll be given some. One is aluminum, one is brass, and one is steel. Okay, so they all have different mass, even though they're all roughly. These in particular are all the same size. So in this one, for instance, I have glass, brass, stainless steel, and aluminum, all the same size, all different masses. So you can do some different activities with those just by themselves. But in this case, we're just trying to get them to see which ones they think are going to do the best job. The game is this. We try to keep it as simple as possible. We want them to get a ball, to hit a ball with the shooter, and that it has to touch the edge of the hula hoop. If it touches the edge, they get a point. So you're kind of essentially playing pool with this, meaning they have to think about the angles at which they're hitting the ball. If they want the ball to go this way, for instance, they can't hit it on this side, they have to hit it on this side. So thinking about that straight line, hopefully, if your floor is level, a straight line, my ball is traveling, and then it hits, where is the other ball going to hit? And they have to start thinking about things like, how big and heavy is this ball versus how big and heavy is this ball? So which one's going to have more force, and what is the reaction to that force going to be based on the object that it hits? So that's part of it. And then you can have them, so they'll play a round or so, maybe 2 rounds, and see who's got the best aim for it in terms of who's also thinking. Because all these balls are in here at the same time. Some of these are going to be much better targets than others. They're going to react more to the ball that I'm shooting, especially if they figure out, oh, the light ones react further or react more easily to the force that I apply to them. I'm going to be shooting for those first. It is a little bit hard for kids to figure this out. You want to practice. Usually you hold the ball in your front finger like this, but then you use your thumb to kind of flick it. And it's going to hit one of the balls, and then as long as that ball touches the hula hoop, you get a point. If it doesn't, it's someone else's turn. Kind of go around like that. Then you would say, okay, so which of these shooter balls do you want? And you say, for instance, would you want the ping pong? So they try with the ping pong, and they'll notice nothing happens because there's no mass to this. And without any mass, it doesn't have any inertia. And you certainly can't get enough speed to overcome the fact that there's almost no mass to this. So then they can try some of the different balls and try and figure out which ones are heaviest, which ones are going to be the best choice. Now, for instance, the heaviest one on here may not be the best choice because it's going to be harder for you to hit that across the table, okay, or across the floor space. So you might want something, they might want something that's kind of in the middle. But again, it's for them to explore and kind of figure out. So it's just a simple game. If you just let them play the game, though, they will not change what they're experiencing into knowledge. They will just say that was a fun game. Okay? So you've got to get them, again, afterwards, sit down, talk, and then write about what they did. Which shooter did the best job? Which shooter was the least effective? Which one of these marbles was the easiest one, or balls was the easiest to hit over? Which one, and why? What was going on? Why? What did you see? And what evidence do you have to consider? What conclusion can you draw from this? What evidence do you have that this happened? Okay. Make sure that happens. That could be a homework assignment. It can be a group activity afterwards. Usually that works best. If you haven't talked about what's going on and then write their answers. Some people's better answers are obviously going to be better than others, and more detailed, more descriptive. But if you have them talk about it first, it's going to pull up the understanding, content knowledge, and the application knowledge of your low-end students, and it's going to get your higher-end students being able to think about it a little more thoroughly. So everyone's engaged in this, hopefully, and learns more from this simple activity.